Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Welcome. Thanks for being with us. We have a national champion in NCAA football. It is the Michigan Wolverines. 34-13. Wasn't even close last night over Washington. Next year, both teams will be in the Big Ten, which is kind of interesting. So I'm really glad, really relieved the Pac-12 didn't win the national championship in their last year in existence. Right. That would have been embarrassing.
The rematch, by the way, for Michigan and Washington coming up October 5th.
Oh, wow.
In Seattle. Great. Yes.
Well, that was some good foresight there. It's scheduled the two. Because what are there, 14 teams in the Big Ten?
I can't 16? Even count that high anymore.
I think it's 16.
It might be more than that, actually. I think we're up to 18.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it 18?
I'm pretty sure.
Wow, that's crazy.
Really trying to go through.
Why is it the Big Ten then? Why isn't it the Big 18?
Because don't be ridiculous.
Same thing applies to the Big 12, though.
Yeah, we've stopped worrying about numbers anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 14 this year in the Big 12. There's going to be 16 next year. Going to be 18 in the Big 10?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
We're at 14 now.
So there you go. Interesting national championship game.
It almost, I thought early on, it almost looked like it was going to be Georgia TCU all over again, but
it didn't
Washington
quite turn out that way.
Kind of close for
Thank
a little
goodness.
bit.
Yeah, they were in it for a while. It was 17-10 at the half. Of course, the first half didn't feel that close to me, but
yeah,
I guess it was. Based on the score.
Based on the score, sure.
Hey, our president, man, he was good yesterday again.
He's good every day, though.
He is. That's true. That's true.
You're kind of stating the obvious when you set it up like that, Pat.
Yeah, I apologize because you're right. Like, tell us something we don't know.
Thank you.
Right. Joe Biden traveled to the Bethel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina yesterday. This was on the anniversary of the shooting.
Terrible shooting.
Yeah.
Killed innocent people there at the Bethel AME.
Really?
And he, of course, was taking the occasion to tell us what the biggest problem in America is, which is, of course...
white supremacy.
Thank you. It's white supremacy.
Obviously.
So he has to go back 9 years to pluck out something.
Incredible. And, of course, when he arrived in Charleston, he was as confused as always.
See, the black dude there already told him, get in the car.
Yeah. You know? And then he looks at the car like, what is this?
He almost does. He's like, who's in there?
Who's in there?
What is this?
What's that smell?
Is this a car?
Did somebody fart?
Yeah, what is this?
I mean, what is he doing?
I have no idea. Like,
and they're trying to get him.
Is waiting for him to get
in
the freaking car, man.
Stupid, get in. It's not that hard. It's a car. Get into it. It's going to take you to a destination. I don't.
Yeah, watch this. Just look at the. Huh? Look, see, the guy. The black guy thinks he's good. Yeah. He's good. He can just take it from here.
He's going.
And then he gets right there.
And he can't. He can't do it. He can't. He cannot follow directions.
Are there Easter eggs in here?
What do you?
I have no idea.
Do I go with them? Do I go with you? Who's where? And what is what's going on? What does this do?
You cannot turn your back on that toddler.
Nope. It's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. Are the Democrats embarrassed yet? Are you joining us yet?
No.
Man.
No.
Not a joke.
He's not Trump, so they love him.
Yeah, I know. That's true. And that's all it takes, really. If you're not Trump, they'll vote for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And by the way, there's like a little boot camp or something that the Biden campaign is doing, these off-the-record trips for political reporters. They've already had, I think, the New York Times and Washington Post.
Where they're telling them what they're doing wrong?
Yeah, they get a spreadsheet shown to them.
Unreal.
Like, hey, this is where you're falling short on your coverage and stuff like that. Yeah, it's unbelievable. They've got, so Reuters, Bloomberg, NPR, Fox News, Wall Street Journal, NBC News, ABC News, and others are going to be showing up at this thing. But what they do is they show you where, hey, you're doing well here with your coverage. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is America 2024.
Right.
And then they say, you guys are really, think about this. This is the irony, Pat. They're upset that the press is covering the Trump legal issues more than what Trump is saying on the campaign trail. I mean, this is what you guys wanted. You literally manufactured this stuff, and now you're upset that the press is covering this instead of stuff that Trump is saying. It's hysterical, and it's disgusting all at the same time.
So Biden bragged about his time in an AME church yesterday, because who wouldn't be proud?
I've spent more time in the Bethel AME Church in Wilmington, Delaware, than I have than most people I know, black or white, have spent in that church. Because that's where I started. No, I'm serious. I started civil rights movement. I used to go to 7:30 mass.
No,
then I go to 10 o'clock service. With,
how many times has he said this kind of thing?
Who was then running the church is now the bishop. She's a bishop, and I'm told
okay,
your
I
bishop
can't take it. Shut him down. He spent more time in the black church than blacks did.
Yeah.
He spent more time in Jewish synagogues than the Jews did. And he spent more time in the AME church than blacks or whites. Doesn't matter. Every single time he goes somewhere, I'm more familiar with this than you. I'm more dedicated and committed than you. I spend more time here than you. Every time. Then he had to tell the same old story. That's still a lie. It was a lie when he first told it. It was a lie the 50th time he told it. It was a lie yesterday. And it went a little something like this.
My mom would drive us to school in the morning as young grade school, turn on when there was a frost, turn on the windshield wiper, there'd be an oil slick in the way. Because guess what? It's all the fence line communities that get hurt. Not on my watch.
Not on my watch. Keep in mind, he grew up in Delaware. And when his mom would get in the car and drive him to school, there was an oil slick on his windshield every morning because of all the refining going on, I guess.
You might want to move.
Yeah,
honestly,
right. Really?
Like, if that's the case.
No kidding.
There's got to be a place with similar rent that doesn't come with the frost mixed with oil.
Look, we grew up. Well, I didn't grow up, but I lived in Houston for 8 years. Houston refines oil like crazy. How many oil refineries are there in and around Houston, Texas? 1,000? There's honestly, a couple. There's several.
And you and I disagree. There's not a lot to like about Houston, in my opinion. However...
How many oil slicks did you have to wipe off, though? How many?
I'm not good at math.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely zero. However, there's some charm at night when you're driving by the refineries and it's all lit up and
pretty,
fire
right?
and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Coming off, they're burning off the excess. You're like, that's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. Yeah, it is kind of cool.
Yeah. You can't say something nice about something, then don't say anything at all. Well, I just did. Houston looks cool because of its oil.
The fires coming out of the refinery at night.
But
it's
I never.
Pretty.
One thing that did not happen is when I drove by, I didn't have to use my wipers for all the oil that was coming out.
That doesn't happen. What are you talking about? And by the way, I got to play this commercial because I haven't seen an oil company defend themselves maybe in 30 years. I don't think I've ever seen it. They're all caving into the climate change BS. They're all talking about what they're doing for renewable energy and blah, blah, blah. And here's what we're trying to do to change. Well, last night on the national championship game, which was played at Energy Stadium in Houston, Energy did a commercial for oil and gas. How about that?
I love it.
I love this. Check this out.
Well, it's time.
Just gotta remember to breathe.
Will get it. Really? Will.
Not his fault. This is what a hospital would look like without oil and natural gas, and nobody wants this.
Find a different hospital.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Well, check this out.
Every hospital would look like that, wouldn't it? All the products now you do have because of oil and gas.
This way.
Come on in.
As I was saying, without oil and gas, hospitals wouldn't have what they need to keep us healthy, heal wounds, save lives,
Okay.
and deliver little bundles of joy.
So great.
Products made from oil and gas are all around
Look at
us. And without them, our lives would be a whole lot messier. Can you leave now? You might want to double bag that.
Brilliant. So good. And so true.
A long time coming.
A long time. Thank you for at least putting up a fight on this BS. My gosh. I'm so tired of hearing about it. How evil it is, how bad it is. We got to get rid of it. Okay. Well, then what? What are you going to make virtually everything out of? Great commercial.
Of course, the trade-off is the frost mixed with the oil when
right, yeah.
every morning when you're going to school.
Yeah, the oil slick that you got to...
What are you going to do?
Use your wiper blades on.
Everything a trade-off.
And the wiper blades wouldn't seem to be all that effective on an oil slick, would they? I mean, I think there would be a lot of smearing going on there.
And also, I'm sure there's elements of oil and petroleum made
in the wiper blades,
to clear your vision there, sir.
No
question
about it.
What are you going to do?
Oh, man.
That was a very good commercial. I was glad. Finally pushing back.
Also, yesterday, Biden talked about, at this same appearance, talked about something. We don't have any idea what he was saying
It's
here.
open to interpretation. You fire away, whatever.
In our time, there's still the old ghost of new garments.
New garments.
We all need to rise to meet the moment.
Got it?
In our time,
okay,
there's still the old ghost of new garments. Yeah. What? Okay, it's an old ghost of new garments?
All right, in our time.
In our time, there's still the old ghost of new garments.
Yeah, okay.
We all need to rise to meet the moment.
What? In our time, there's still the old ghost of new garments. So we need to rise to the occasion.
One more time, please.
In our time, there's still the old ghost of new garments.
Yeah, okay.
We all need to rise to meet the moment.
Rise to meet the moment.
Will he be talking about the Holy Ghost? You know, he is at a
Holy
church.
Ghost? Yeah, he is at a church.
So the Holy Ghost garment, but the old part, maybe some of the Old Testament and the Holy Ghost, and they just went to one word. No.
Nice job filling in for Jeffy as the resident Biden apologist.
I'm not apologizing for him. I'm just trying to connect the dots.
What was it? In our time,
there's still the old ghost.
One more time, Joe.
In our time, there's still the old ghost of new garments.
Garments.
We all need to rise to meet the moment.
Yeah, don't miss all. We all need to rise to meet the moment.
Clears a bell. Clears a bell. There it is. If you have a question, then you're a hater.
That should be hanging on every refrigerator in the United States of America.
It really should. In fact, I'm going to make sure that it hangs in here for the rest of the show.
All right,
because
good.
These are words of wisdom you don't get every day.
No, you sure don't. In fact, I don't believe I've ever thought of before, and so this has really opened my mind. In our time, there's still the old ghost of new garments.
Yeah.
We all need to rise to meet the moment. I mean, that's beautiful. Argue with that. If you can. You can't.
It's very succinct.
You can't. It's like a cat can give birth to kittens in the oven. That don't make them biscuits. You can't argue with that.
Nope.
These are things you just don't argue with. So
a cat can give birth to kittens in the oven. That don't make them biscuits.
Exactly. Plus, in our time, there's still the old ghost of new garments.
Yeah.
Of new garments. We all need to rise to meet the moment.
Yeah.
Okay?
This isn't as easy as it looks.
Powerful.
Don't try this at home, kids.
It does look like you're struggling a bit there to
I struggle to get
have
out of
that hang
bed.
the whole show. All right.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Take a minute to tell you about the Jace case. This past December, drug shortages hit a record high, and this is causing severe disruptions in medical treatments, obviously. There's delays, there's treatment cancellations, and the unfortunate rationing of vital medications. Even drugs as important as the antibiotic amoxicillin are in short supply right now, along with 294 others. Doctors are even saying they've been forced to make impossible choices, including choosing which patients will be prioritized to receive potentially curative therapy. This is why you need the Jace case. It's a personalized emergency kit that contains 5 essential antibiotics that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. And Jace is continually working to expand their medication offerings. They've even added ivermectin as an option in the Jace case. Plus, you can buy a gift card for your family or loved ones so that they can get a Jace case of their own and personalize it to their needs. Everyone should be empowered to take care of themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. So get yours today. Don't be caught unprepared for whatever eventuality happens. Go to jacemedical.com today, enter the promo code PAT at checkout, and you'll get a nice discount on your order. That's promo code PAT at jacemedical.com.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Man, all right, so he covered some territory. I don't know what else there is to say after you've already said in our times there's still the old ghost of new garments. We all need to rise to meet the moment.
And I think this is going to be like when you go to Google or something and you type in famous presidential quotes.
That'll be at the top of the list now, yeah.
This one is right there.
Yeah, it better be. It better be. I mean, that's more powerful than the Gettysburg Address. I think we all agree to that.
It's
right. We can all agree on that.
It's right up there.
So, also, he covered some territory on the 2020 BLM riots. All right.
After the historic movement for justice in the summer of 2020.
Pause it.
I signed the most...
After the storic.
Okay.
It wasn't historic. It was the storic.
Wow, you hater.
Kids.
Man's trying to make a point about
right, yes.
About social justice victories in our streets of America a few years back, and you want to demean the man.
So January 6th was an insurrection.
Yeah.
Right? It was the day that almost murdered democracy.
Yes.
They broke a few windows in the Capitol building. They yelled a lot. They pushed people around. They got a little bit unruly.
They being Antifa dressed as Trump supporters, or possibly FBI agents.
That's who they are. But in the nobody died at the hands of the mob. How many people died at the hands of the 2020 riot mobs? Many. Dozens. Dozens. Police officers were killed. Businesses were burned down. And it went on for months. But it was a historic movement.
And mostly peaceful.
This historic movement for social justice. All right, start from the beginning. This is incredible. Jeez.
After the historic movement for justice in the summer of 2020, I signed the most significant police reform executive order in history.
Isn't that cool? See?
That's cool.
That's what we got out of it.
Wow.
Police reform.
Thanks for that. And what did it reform? What did it do? Because I don't know that anything's changed.
It reformed
since
police.
Oh, okay. So now they're all nice and they all do what he wants them to do?
Yep. And just because that clip kind of sets up some future clips that we're going to get to here, because he is clearly praising the riots. Yeah. He's praising riots in the street in 2020.
Sure is.
Okay.
Yep. He also said his opposition, doesn't respect him.
There's one thing they don't have.
One thing they don't have.
They don't have respect for the 81 million people who voted the other way, voted for my candidacy.
My gosh.
Where do you begin? There's so much there.
Hello, pot, calling the kettle black. Bro. Are you kidding me? Does he respect the 73 million that voted the other way? What? All he does is bash MAGA Republicans.
Every chance he gets.
That's all he does.
And so, yes, he has speeches. He had one on Friday where he gets up there and he gets so angry and worked up thinking about January 6th and damn those people that support Trump and not me.
Yeah.
But, of course, he just praised BLM.
Yeah.
And then I want you to see how he handles in this next clip.
Yeah, I like this,
These
too.
protesters show up. Now, keep in mind, he has just praised BLM riots.
Mm-hmm.
He tells us how much he hates MAGA Republicans, and those who disagree with him can't stand it. I mean, that's what really animates the old man. Then these protesters show up, these pro-Hamas protesters, and I want you to contrast his speech from Friday, his past speeches, and how he talks to those of us who disagree with everything this man does and yells at us from his bully pulpit. But boy, when these protesters are right there in his face, he's pro-Hamas.
Total respect for him.
He'll whisper. Listen to this.
Yeah.
This guy. Oh.
If you really care about the lives lost here, then you should honor the lives lost and call for a ceasefire in Palestine.
Oh.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
That's all right. That's all right. Pause it for a second. Here's the interesting thing about that, too. They don't give a rat's anus about you saying that's all right. They don't care. They don't care if you think it's all right or not. They're going to shout you down. They don't have a care in the world about respecting you. You talk about a lack of respect. How about these buffoons? They don't care what you say, what you think, what you do, what you think about them, what you think about the situation. All they care about is their ill-informed, ignorant stance on Israel and their hatred for Jews. That's what they care about. So it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter one iota to them. They don't care.
And not only that they don't respond to him asking them to sit down and be quiet.
No, they don't.
Then he has no clue. And it's almost like you can see the dementia in his brain, and he spaces out, and then he's like, oh, crap, that's right. I got to talk to these people. This is something else.
Ceasefire now. Yeah, we tried that. Went really well. And they're being escorted out, some of them. It's quite a few of them, actually. 4 more years.
Look at his face. Look at his face. He's lost.
He is.
He is gone. He's so gone.
What idiots.
Which one? Both groups?
Thank you. Thank you. Look, folks.
Appropriate in a church, too, by the way.
Right, thank you.
Is that appropriate?
I understand their passion,
Do you?
and I've been quietly working.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
I know.
I've been
This is
quietly
great.
working with the Israeli government to get them to reduce and significantly get out,
That's good that you're going to bow to him.
using all that I can to do.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
And he's so measured
So
in the
much there.
response there.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
him.
yeah. They didn't piss him off. No, it's only MAGA Republicans that really piss him off.
I'm a little confused, though, by something you said, Pat, because you just said, what, morons or something to that effect, and I wasn't sure. Were you talking about the pro-Hamas supporters or the Democrats chanting for 4 more years?
Yeah,
'Cause that's
all of the above. All of the above. The place was just filled with morons. There were morons on morons, too, which is great because it's wonderful.
Multi-layered.
It's wonderful to watch the left eat their own. It's awesome.
And you're right about the church stuff. I mean, with
Yeah,
pep rally
is that
in a church.
appropriate? What are you doing? You know, it reminds me of that Paul Wellstone funeral.
Yep.
What, 10 or 15 years ago, when during the election process, Wellstone died. They did his funeral, and they got up and made it a political rally. And even his sons were yelling and screaming about how I turned a funeral.
Do it for Paul.
In the church, I believe that was in a church as well. They turned it into a political rally.
Yeah. Yeah, and remember, this was supposed to be like a memorial service.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the lives lost in the Charleston church there.
Yeah,
9
totally
years.
appropriate, right? That was really appropriate, all of it. It's just incredible. These people have no shame.
There it is, yeah.
None whatsoever.
Bottom line.
Man, things are getting bad, and it's not just here, of course. In fact, in Europe is being so inundated with Islam that a Catholic cathedral at a Catholic service invited a Muslim in to sing praises to Allah.
Yeah, and this is 5 minutes long. I figure you'd kill it after about 30 seconds here. Do you want to see this?
Yeah,
this is
watch this.
So blasphemous.
It's incredible.
Look at this. A church. Catholic cathedral. What?
Okay, here we go.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Sing about Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, except no.
Wait, no. Church.
They do believe he lived, though. Just wasn't divine. Is that a problem?
This is a church. I'll remind you.
Yeah, he's doing, what is this? The Muslim call to prayer is what it sounds like.
One more time? I missed it.
No. We're good.
No, I missed it.
No, let's hear. You're right. You know what? I do want to hear the rendition. That's good. That's good. I read somewhere, and I can't find the tweet now, but somebody said that him doing this, singing praises to Allah in a church, has basically made that into a mosque now, technically.
Oh, wow.
It's now a mosque. It's been christened, if you will.
Good.
No irony there.
Good, that's great.
Okay, I can't take it anymore. I will vomit.
That is incredible.
Okay. Thank you.
Does he ever sing words?
No.
Or is it just...
It's always that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, it's the 5 minutes of it.
That's good.
And of course, they clap and all that stuff. He's on a tour as well.
Hey, why?
This guy.
Wait, hold up. He's on a tour?
He's on a tour. Other clergy have also invited the singer to come and convert.
Of Catholic churches?
This is what this says from Amy Mack, who posted this. To come and convert their churches.
Yeah.
Here is the schedule. St. Michael Church in Froschweiler. Okay. That's coming up on January 21st. You still have time to get tickets. St. Bonaventure Basilica of
we should send him an invite. Let's see. Perform.
Yeah.
I want to see a live performance.
Notre Dame de Esperance Church in St. Nazaré. That's on May 25th. So he spaced these out. You got to heal the voice after you do the call to prayer.
Well, for 5 minutes, yeah.
So, right, okay. So that was May 25th. And then June 8th, he's going to be at the St. Madeleine Church in Nantes or whatever. So there you go. So France is being conquered right before our very eyes.
Yet the Pope fired that priest here in Texas.
Yeah.
Right.
So are we going to hear some firing?
Because he spoke out against him.
Because he spoke out against him.
And his radical liberal policy.
Isn't this speaking against you also, Pope?
And the savior of the world.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So here is it's on the same post. The Muslim made the declaration, quote, Allah is the greatest. I bear witness that there is no other God but Allah. I bear witness to that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. And so she says in traditional Islamic theology, I don't know if this is right, she says that makes the cathedral a mosque.
Okay.
I don't know. But there you go. So they've graduated. See, they're now into singing praises to Allah in churches. In America, we're almost to that step. We're still dealing with the pro-Hamas protests in the streets.
Yeah, right. But there's a lot of them. Yeah, they're everywhere.
You got to see the Brooklyn Dad.
Yeah, I love that they did another blockade in New York City.
Play this.
Check this out. Get out of the way. He's trying to get home to his daughter. I don't know what's going on with her, but it doesn't matter. Should be able to do that.
Idiots.
Can't do that. That's against the law.
Thank you.
What law?
Thank you.
This is America, bro. There are no laws anymore. Stop.
Then he gets out.
Bro, I'm not gonna run you over. Get away from my car, bro.
Nice. Yes.
Shoves him.
He should.
Yep.
Get out of the way.
Bro, get away from my car. I have a daughter in Brooklyn.
Don't touch him. Get in your car.
A little frustrated.
This is New York City. It could be any American city today because this is happening.
Tells him to
everywhere.
move. I don't want to run you over. Get out of the way. And then he drives through.
I love the background. Run him over.
Somebody yelled in to run him over.
They moved.
And they moved. That's what you have to do. Every single person stuck in one of these blockades needs to do exactly that. Drive slowly. They'll move.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Some tweets for you. High Plains Stranger. Is that a take on High Plains Drifter? You know, the old Clint Eastwood movie from, gosh, like 50 years ago? You ever seen that?
No.
Kind of a cool Western. Although, I don't think you could make that today. There's a...
Oh, now I want to watch it.
Yeah, there's a rape scene in it.
Oh.
It's super disturbing.
Okay, that's
the
not
hero.
It's not where I thought that was going with the conversation.
The hero does it. It's weird.
What?
Yeah. I don't want to give away too much in case you want to go watch High Plains.
Not as interested as
Drifter.
I was 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, but I mean,
Wait, that was not giving
it's a
it
classic.
up?
Not
That one scene?
There's much more. There's much more to see. But High Plains Stranger tweets, the fires from the refinery are cool to see at night.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Chalk Demon Jason number 2. Fossil fuels make the winter sky beautiful. Jam Jars. Pat saying shut it down to the Biden audio was a tease. It's been a while since we've gotten shut the country off sound.
Gosh,
there you go.
That is
shut it all
so
down.
overdue.
Yeah.
In fact, I hope we do shut it down coming up because did you know that Chuck Schumer said on a conference call with Democrats that the budget that he and Mike Johnson worked out was a victory for the Democrat Party?
Yeah, except it didn't pass, so apparently it's not going to.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to.
We'll see. I hope the conservatives in the House do put up a fight. So some
We'll see.
agencies I saw will start shutting down on February 19th. I'm sorry, on January 19th.
What? This month?
Yeah, so I'm like, let's go.
Okay.
That's a tease.
But again, Republicans don't know how to sell this stuff.
Right.
They just can't do it. They're incapable.
Yep. Frustrating.
Verklempt Wisconsinite tweets, clearly Pat and Keith have never been haunted by the ghost of a new coat, and it shows. Yeah.
I mean, definitely, because, I mean, in our time.
Right, well, in our times, there's still the old ghost of the new Garmins. And, you know, furthermore.
In our time, there's still the old ghost of new garments.
Yeah.
We all need to rise to meet the moment.
Well said. That man's an inspiration.
Well said.
To Hooked on Phonics.
Yep.
I give you my word as a Biden.
DMXDM, only a president that full of crap can deliver such historic movements. And from Sue, I am blessed. My magic muffins are done.
Okay, you say that. Okay, whenever you... Okay, we hear that. You say your magic muffins
And
are
then
done.
I never produce them.
Where are they?
I'll
And
have
share
to.
them, sir.
I'll share them during the break. Sue, I am blessed, tweets, Biden gives a lot of speeches in churches and synagogues. I thought the Democrats were all about keeping church and state separate. Yeah, except when it suits them. Hypocrites. So hideous. You know, a little January 6th fun
because
here.
I mean, over the weekend, you know, the left was, of course,
celebrating.
literally crying.
Yeah.
Crying.
Literally
like
crying.
we played the clip from MSNBC yesterday.
I'm going to try to hold it together.
They were on
but I
social
can't.
media lamenting that dark day in our country's history.
Well, democracy almost died.
Almost did.
So, yeah, it's really moving.
It should have died.
So, did you see this tweet mocking the January 6th insurrection the other day? Mocking it. I mean, this is despicable.
Oh, I thought this was a proud lefty.
Frank McCormick, Chalkboard Heresy, tweeted out, he posted this. It was his memory of J6.
Okay.
It was 2:20 on this day in 2021. I was in my classroom, quadruple masked, explaining to my students how queer slaves actually wrote the Constitution when I heard it.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah, you're not in his class. That's why. Sobbing coming from the hall. I went outside to find my colleague, an English teacher, sobbing uncontrollably. At first, I thought Ron DeSantis had made our jobs even more difficult by banning us from discussing our kinks in the classroom. But this was far worse.
Okay.
A white supremacist insurrectionist has his feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk, they them cried. I rushed back into my classroom to see the look of fear on my students' faces. Are we going to lose access to our puberty blockers? A purple-haired demi-boy asked. If they overthrow our democracy, yes, I replied. For the next several hours, we watched the TV in fear as several hundred terrorists searched the Capitol for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez so they could have their way with her. Thankfully, a brave police officer of color shot a hysterical Karen in the face, sending the MAGA idiots running for their lives at the sight of such a strong black man. When it was over, 640 police officers of color had been killed. You would think so, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. And then
Ilhan Omar.
This is Ilhan Omar. Her brother husband had been deported back to Somalia. If only. Yeah. My students knew how close we had come to losing our democracy, mostly because I told them so. We must #never forget January 6th.
That's right.
How did you hear the news?
How did you hear the news?
Really good. Really good. Just a slightly mocking tone.
What do you? Again, I felt that was genuine.
Dead serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he downplayed the number of police officers of color that were murdered that day.
I see.
It was more like 1,000 or 1,200, somewhere in that neighborhood. Now, here's former Vice President Mike Pence on the possible FBI involvement on J6.
Okay.
It's not just President Biden who's focusing on January 6th, of course. You have Donald Trump still talking about it. Do you want to just take this opportunity to clear up this lie that the FBI was leading the charge on January 6th? It's obviously not true. I'm sure you know it's not true. Do you want to make that clear to the voters?
You know, I've seen the director of the FBI repeatedly assure the American people that the FBI were not the instigators of the riot
then
that
we're done
occurred
here.
on January 6th. And frankly, I'm very grateful for the efforts of the FBI to bring nearly 1,000 people to justice who ransacked our Capitol and did violence against
so that was a good thing, Mike?
That day. But you're right. We've been assured again and again that it was not the case. And I just must tell you, having been there that day, I mean, to see people literally breaking windows, ransacking the Capitol, it just infuriated me. I remember thinking, you know, not this, not here, not at the United States Capitol. And I believe everyone that conducted that riot at the Capitol needs to be held to the fullest extent of the law. I'm pleased that many have. But I've never been given any information. I've heard the many repeated assurances from the FBI that they were not involved, and I take them at their word.
Why? What evidence do you have to back up that stance?
He takes the FBI at their word.
Why would you do that? What reason have they given you to believe that they're truthful about anything? And I love they broke some windows and ransacked. Specify ransacked the Capitol. What else did they do? Well, other than break windows?
Well, they put the guy put his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk.
Yeah.
Remember that?
They moved a podium.
That's right.
They did move a podium. Is that ransacking?
That was via Getty.
What about the yelling inside by the Shyamalan?
Yeah, okay. Right.
There was a Norm Macdonald tweet on January 7th, 2021 that said, yeah, look at those terrorists staying within those velvet ropes. I miss Norm Macdonald. But that's good. That's good. Mike Pence, his background was talk radio, right?
Yeah.
Yes. What do you think, like the Mike Pence show, what do you think that was like? Think that was good stuff?
Oh,
I bet it was riveting, every day.
You know it was.
All right, welcome to the Mike Pence Show, where we talk about how much I trust the FBI. Line up your calls now.
Man. Here's Nancy Pelosi on whether Trump is eligible to be president. I wonder how she feels about that.
If you believe he engaged in insurrection under the plain meaning of the 14th Amendment, you believe he's ineligible to be president.
Those laws, those are up to the states. They have different laws from state to state.
Oh, the states
I don't think he should ever have been
the Constitution.
president. But nonetheless, There is a view of the Constitution in Article 14, Section 3, that he should not be able to run for president. But that's not the point. The point now
I
love it. I love it.
Again, different states have different laws. We don't think in California that it applied in our state. That's what the decision was made here. But anyway, not to go into that because that's very intricate. What is very clear is that the American people want us to honor our oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah, when are you going to start doing that? When does that begin, Nancy? Since you know that now, let me know when you start practicing that. That'd be great.
I love how she's all of a sudden. This is what Democrats do. All of a sudden, they find federalism. They're like, yeah, states' rights.
Right. Yeah.
Because states are starting to take Trump off the ballot. Now it's state by state by state.
Is anybody on the Democrat side going to bring up due process?
No.
Just because some people think he participated in an insurrection doesn't make it so. So you can quote the Constitution all day, every day. That doesn't mean that Donald Trump is subjected to that clause. It's just asinine.
I also love that Stephanopoulos threw her a bone. He's talking about the Constitution and Article 14, Section blah, and then she goes, that's the Constitution. We're not going to talk about the Constitution, man.
Yeah,
it's fun. These people are fun.
Remember that time? This was some time ago. Somebody brought up the U.S. Constitution. I think it was concerning the healthcare situation and the way they got that done. And somebody yelled at her, "What about the Constitution, Nancy?" And she's like, "Oh, please."
Yeah.
You remember that at all?
Oh, please be in the 360.
Yeah, I'm hoping because she dismissed it out of hand. Like, please don't talk to me about the U.S. Constitution.
Right.
Remember that?
Right. Yes, I do.
Oh, man. Let's see.
Any luck? Yeah. And that's what, sometimes Democrats have these moments of brutal honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who was it that that was asked about the health care bill? And he's like, look, I have 3 days and 3 lawyers combing through it. Oh, who was that? He's dead now.
Yeah.
He's the black congressman who's basically admitting, we don't read the bills.
John Conyers.
Yes.
Yeah. Read the bill. I get a kick out of these people who say, read the bill.
I see what literally, you see this all the time on social media. You have one job.
Mm-hmm.
Like congressmen, congresswomen, you have one job. You read the bills, then you decide if you're going to vote yay or nay. It's very simple.
Read the bills. I get a kick. And was it Rand Paul that introduced legislation at one point where the bills had to be 1 page?
Oh, one? I thought it was 3. Somebody did another one for 3. But but 1,
But it was like, okay, so that you can read the bill before you vote on it, so that you know everything that's in it. These 3,000-page bills are ridiculous. No one reads them. Let me take a minute, tell you about Magic Spoon. They've reinvented your favorite childhood cereals to taste great, but also be much healthier for you. They've got, they're low in carbs, they're low in calories, they're keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and it's a great way to relive those moments watching your favorite cartoons. Plus, just 140 calories per serving. I really love the fruity, the chocolate chip, the cinnamon roll cereal. Fantastic. Now, you grew up, and so now your cereal has grown up with you. Fantastic. Only 1 gram of sugar. The treats come in 2 flavors, marshmallow, and the treats, in addition to the cereal, are so fantastic. And the treats look a little something like this. They don't have eyes on them, but you get an idea there.
Oh, nice.
Magic Spoon. Go to magicspoon.com/unleashed and get a bundle of cereal and try the Magic Spoon treats as well. Delicious. Don't forget to add these to your order. Be sure to use our promo code UNLEASHED at checkout to save the $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if for any reason you don't like it or whatever, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, Start the new year off right with a delicious bowl of high-protein cereal at magicspoon.com/unleashed. Promo code UNLEASHED to save $5 off your order.
Pat Gray is unleashed.
Speaking of election deniers, that's some tweets from Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. Russia interfered in the 2016 election in sweeping and systematic fashion. Trump campaign welcomed their assistance. They helped elect the so-called president.
Now, this is a tweet from September of 2019. The so-called.
Individual one is at it again. He must go.
This is the top-ranking Democrat in the House of Representatives.
Then there's this from, 2 days ago?
No.
Hakeem Jeffries?
No, this is... Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry.
It's from the 7th. Election denial is a sickness that is poisoning our democracy.
Bro, you see your own tweets, right? Okay.
Have you met you?
Yeah.
Hakeem?
Read the other one there from 2018. This is fun as well.
The more we learn about the 2016 election, the more illegitimate it becomes. America deserves to know whether we have a fake president in the Oval Office.
Hashtag Russian interference.
Now, see, it's fine for them. They can do it all day and have. They've done it for years. They did it in 2000. They did it in 2004.
Every time they lose.
They did it in 2016. They're still doing it now about 2016. And yet, Trump is the election denier. Jeez. Now here's... I
don't know. Do we have time?
I don't know. Do we have time?
No, let's save that one for after the break. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun.
Because Michelle Obama is terrified.
Big Mike.
I can relate to being terrified about this election because if a Republican doesn't win, if a conservative doesn't win, I fear for our republic. I fear for this nation. She should be afraid, be very afraid. Although she's afraid of the opposite of what I'm afraid of. But she's out talking about it, so I don't know if she's planning to do something about it. A lot of people are making noise that she's going to jump in.
And if she does, and she goes on to win the presidency, we'll still be waiting for our first female president, I understand. Is that right? That's accurate, right, Chris?
Big Mike.
Big Mike.
Mike on Mike.
They call her that for a reason.
That they do.
All right, more Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Can you believe it?
Pat Gray is here.
I know.
On the Blaze Radio Network.
Sure does, sir.
It's another second and a half. We'll never get back.
Yep.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris Cruz, for starting the show.
1.5 seconds late.
Yep.
You know that if you don't say anything, no one will ever
bro,
know that that happened.
We would know.
Okay.
Oh, are you saying the audience doesn't pay that close attention?
They don't pay close attention to the clock like we do.
Pay attention to everything.
Oh, they do?
Absolutely everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a fact.
It is a fact. Got some tweets from them as well. Expired Vax promo tweets, white supremacy is code for white conservatives. Isn't that the truth?
Yep.
Translation, conservative white people are the greatest threat to our agenda. David Cullup, politicians do not want the government to shut down because then the people will realize this country can run just fine without them. Also, while necessities are being taken care of. Mark Moderman, remember, when you wanted to affirm something, you would ask, is the Pope Catholic?
Yep.
Yeah, I can't use that one anymore.
Yeah, we've made that point, and it just continues to, the evidence just continues to mount.
Sure does. The Pickled Squirrel tweets, this is the perfect time to deploy a Byrna. These protests are out of control.
Yeah, what is it, Byrna.com? I think it's promo code Glenn.
It's a weapon that shoots...
Yeah, tear canisters or something, yeah.
Are you guys going to get it? Because I'm like 99%.
I'm going to get it from my wife.
I've heard great things about it from firearms enthusiasts.
Oh, really?
So, yes.
Okay, I'm going to get one then.
Let's see. From Fury and Energy, Mike Pence is what happens when you make your piety an idol. That's well put.
Yeah, it is.
Sons of Thunder 43, the insurrection trifecta, parade, meander, and mill. Yeah, that makes it so frightening. When you combine all three, like as was done on J6.
Those are the ones.
And you got 1,000 or 1,200 people that belong in jail and fortunately have been put away for a long, long time.
Fortunately.
Yeah. You won't be parading around us anytime soon. Like maybe 27 years from now.
Can I mill?
No.
Meander?
Nope.
Okay.
None of the above.
Can I chant USA, USA? Which
certainly not.
You'll
that
recall
means
that
you're
was
an absolute terrorist if you do that.
That was evidence used against people.
Yeah.
You chanted your nation's name in your nation's capital.
Yeah.
Off with his head.
From Kenneth Parker, Nancy is brave. She survived the desk scuff heard around the world. The N1 James. Did anyone ever find Nancy Pelosi's stolen laptop?
That's such a great question.
That is a good question.
What happened with that? I'm going to find out.
I don't know. We need to look into that, though. All right. Yesterday, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson was interviewed. I think this is on NBC. I think this is an NBC reporter. I just have the audio of it, but this is amazing how they are trying to turn him into an election denier, and they're trying to beat him with that stick continually. Because anybody who said anything about the problems that existed in the 2020 election cycle is an election denier. Now, if you still, as we just pointed out, are harping about 2016 and Russian influence and all of that nonsense, you're perfectly fine.
Yeah,
that's great.
You're rewarded with House leadership in the Democrat Party.
Sure. And you won't be questioned. You won't be taken to task on that by any reporter ever. But here's Mike Johnson trying to explain the amicus brief he filed.
Back in 2021, you were the lawmaker who circulated the legal brief known as the Texas amicus brief, challenging the 2020 election outcome in a number of states, which by CBS editorial standards makes you an election denier.
Oh, by CBS. Editorial standards? Oh, man, you don't want to run afoul of those.
I can't believe she said that with a straight face.
I know. Wow, powerful. You've just put me in my place. Puddin'.
That's nonsense.
Well, can I get you on the record on that?
I've always been consistent on the record. Did you read the brief? Did you get a chance to read what we filed with the Supreme Court?
Well, I have read extensively some criticisms of that.
You read commentary about the brief, but not what we submitted to the court.
But
right?
How great is that?
Busted.
That he got that admission. She hadn't even read the brief, but she read the criticism of it. Okay.
Great question.
What a great journalist you are. Yeah, he's awesome.
Recognize that President Biden won the 2020 election.
Do you recognize
that? President Biden was certified as the winner of the election. He took the oath of office. He's been the president for 3 years.
Okay.
The argument that we presented to the court, which is our only avenue to do so, was that the Constitution was clearly violated in the 2020 election. It's Article 2, Section 1, and anyone can Google it and read it for themselves. The system by which you choose electors to elect the president of the United States must be done by the individual states, and the system must be ratified by the state legislatures.
And it wasn't.
Plain language out of the Constitution.
Have issues.
Listen to that. She ignores the constitutional reality that was violated. So you still have problems with the election. Yeah, I just explained to you that it was unconstitutional. Yes, Pumpkin, stay with me here. Are you capable? Am I speaking English? Do you understand English? Is it your first language? What is going on here? This is incredible.
With the validity of the 2020 election.
Anyone who Googles...
Even though the
Anyone who pulls up the Constitution...
Majority Sorry, go ahead.
Anyone who pulls up the Constitution on their smartphone and reads Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution has to agree with what I just told you. The Constitution was violated in the run-up to the 2020 election. Not always in bad faith, but in the aftermath of COVID, many states changed their election laws in ways that violated that plain language. That's just a fact. We presented that argument and those facts to the court, and it was never directly addressed because of the Texas litigation. But that was the only vehicle we had to present that issue squarely to the court.
It was completely shut down as an issue. But your colleague Liz Cheney, your former colleague, wrote Mike Johnson and our Republican leaders had played a destructive role. You, she says, convinced 125 other Republican members of Congress to sign on to an amicus brief that many never read, that made numerous false, factual, and constitutional claims. How do you respond to that?
I love
and the impression that you might have contributed in some way?
No, I don't spend much time responding to Liz Cheney's criticism these days. Liz Cheney worked with the Democrats on the January 6th Select Committee to make all of this even more politicized than it was. She was a close friend and colleague before
she
made those choices.
About you. Which is why she was surprised, she said.
Well, I'm surprised that she's giving that criticism because during that process, Liz and I were in constant dialogue about that, and at one point, she even considered signing on to that bill. I'll tell you that is a fact.
Interesting.
To that amicus brief. And we talked about that at great length, and we had a difference of opinion on the law, and people can agree to disagree on that, but I'm telling you that the plain language of the Constitution has never changed, and what happened in many states by changing the election laws without ratification by the state legislatures is a violation of the Constitution. That's a plain fact that no one can dispute.
Calmly, coolly, factually, just shut her down. That's the way to do it. You get your money for nothing, and your chicks for free. That's the way you do it.
Yeah, because if they weren't free, that'd be illegal in 49 states.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that same Mike Johnson, though, is caving on the budget.
Yeah,
so
that's
unfortunate.
I
love his stoic, reaction there to the CBS News. According to our definition, that makes you an election denier.
NBC. Yeah.
And anyway, so I mean, there's some really good stuff with him.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff that
you don't like.
Yeah. But he's definitely, can anyone deny that he's an upgrade from Kevin McCarthy?
I don't think so. I think he's definitely that.
So that's good. I like it when the press is put in her place. And then how odd was it for her to lean on, and many of Republicans admit that they didn't even read that before signing on.
Yeah, and neither did you. You dumbass. You just admitted you didn't read it. So great.
Okay.
What's not so great is that Michelle Obama has been out in front, babbling about things that shouldn't concern her.
I will say, this is the
out
most
of it.
Concerning clip,
concerning.
I think.
Yeah.
In relation to your theory that at one point she might jump into this race.
Yeah, it's scary.
If this clip of hers was 6 months ago, I'd be even more terrified.
Yeah.
But still, I'm still concerned.
You know what? I think she hates America so much she doesn't want to serve it. It's too difficult a job. It involves too much stuff that she doesn't want to be bothered with because she doesn't like the country in the first place.
I don't know, man. She wants to serve it up for our enemies.
I know. That is true. But it would take some effort, and she doesn't want to put it in.
Yeah.
But here she is discussing how scared she is.
Uh-oh.
She's terrified.
Okay.
What keeps me up are the things that I know. The war in the region. In too many regions. What is AI going to do for us? The environment, are we moving at all fast enough? What are we doing about education?
What are we doing
Are
about
people going to vote? And why aren't people voting?
Why?
Are we too stuck to our phones? I mean, those are the things that keep me up because you don't have control over them. And you wonder, where are people? Where are we in this? Where are our hearts? What's going to happen in this next election? I am terrified.
She's terrified
about what could possibly happen because our leaders matter. Who we select, who speaks for us, who holds that bully pulpit. It affects us in ways that sometimes I think people take for granted.
Yeah.
The fact that people think that government, does it really even do anything? And I'm like,
Pause
oh my
for a
God.
Did she just say people take for granted?
Oh, no.
Like a countertop?
Is that Glenn Beck in there?
Yeah, that's a Glenn thing. I wonder if she got that directly from Glenn.
Rewind that a little bit.
Maybe 10 or 15
seconds.
seconds.
That's the most important issue in this whole clip.
I didn't even want to think about the rest of it. But did she say take it for granted? Let's see.
Our leaders matter. Who we select, who speaks for us, who holds that bully pulpit. It affects us in ways that sometimes I think people take for granted.
Yep. They take it for granted when it should be Formica or Corian. I don't know. It should be some other surface, not granite.
While you were focusing on that, I was focusing on that she's the only one that has a glass straw inside her cup.
Let's see this.
She has a glass straw?
Yeah, go back. Look at that.
That's a glass straw?
Yes, that's a glass straw. You can see right through it.
Oh. Okay. Well, while Pat was focused on granite and you were focused on the glass straw, I'm focused on the gold-plated Kleenex box.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. What in the world? What kind of set is this? Where are we? Can I just point out, though, as much as I think we've avoided the Gavin Newsom and Michelle Obama bomb for the most part, I'm just looking at the primary calendar, and here's the last option that I can see, is that if Trump wins the first string of primaries, caucus, all that stuff, and it becomes blatantly obvious by the end of February, because that's when South Carolina is. South Carolina is February 24th. If at that point Trump has just steamrolled the opposition, he's obviously going to be the GOP nominee, that's where I think they pull Joe Biden aside and they say, you need to get out, because they are that scared of Donald Trump, and I would contend Ron DeSantis as well, that if one of those two are going to be the obvious nominees, that's when they tell the old man, figure it out.
Get out.
Get out. It's your health, or we're gonna dump all this stuff with you and your son, and we're gonna make it difficult for you. Now they're probably bluffing in that respect, but they want him out so that they can slip. I think by the end of February we'll know if we've avoided a Michelle Obama and a Gavin Newsom eventuality.
Just so we avoid her. Let Gavin Newsom come into the race. He's got such a terrible track record. I can't imagine that Americans are going to get behind it. Look at California.
Yes. And by the way, if Nikki Haley somehow is the leader after February 24th, the Democrats will sit back and go, oh, we win either way. Whatever.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. That's probably true.
Yeah.
And is there anybody in this race other than Trump? And I also think DeSantis would do something about the border. I think he'd be really strong on the border. And I think Vivek would be as well.
And honestly, I think RFK would.
Yeah.
I think
RFK, currently, his current position on that seems to be strong.
Yeah, I think anybody but Biden or
a
Nikki
Democrat.
Haley.
Yeah. Or a Biden substitute like Gavin Newsom, because he's terrible. But here's the latest in a long line of illegal immigrant videos at the border. This will hearten you, I'm pretty sure.
Look at this. Look at all these families. They're lined up. See that?
Yeah.
You see all those families? Just some young families ready to
a lot of babies,
come in here. Yeah, toddlers. A lot of, they're crying so much. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Just all these young immigrant families coming here for a better life.
Jeez, man.
And they're clearly all from south of the border as opposed to, way east of the border.
Yeah.
I mean, just...
It's incredible.
Let's be honest here. We're being replaced. Does everybody understand that? Your nation is being replenished with new Democrat voters and cheap labor and fill in the blank. But it ain't you. It ain't you that they're looking out for in Washington, D.C. It's all of those individuals there.
Now, because this administration is so inept, so horrifically terrible in every way, they're trying to lean on Mexico to fix the situation for us. Is that incredible? Hey, Mr. Obrador.
Yeah.
Could you help us out on the immigration thing? Can you fix this for us? Well, sure. If you do a couple of things for me.
Okay.
You deploy $20 billion to Latin America and Caribbean countries, suspend the U.S. blockade of Cuba, remove all sanctions against Venezuela, and grant at least $10 million Hispanics living in the U.S. the right to be citizens here, or at least stay legally forever.
Telling us how to run our country.
Yep.
Isn't that great?
So that's all it'll take for Mexico to help us fix this situation.
And that
So
great
bad.
Fox reporter on the border, whose name I can never remember how to pronounce, Bill Mel. He said that yesterday, per three.
You nailed it.
Did I get it?
Yeah,
Bill Mel.
Yep, you nailed it.
Per 3 Border Patrol sources who were in the room while meeting privately with agents in Eagle Pass, Texas today, DHS Secretary Mayorkas, he's good, admitted that the current release rate for migrants caught crossing the border illegally.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it is? What do you got to guess? What percentage, when they catch them illegally, what percentage of them are released into the country?
Is 100% too much?
You know what?
I'm going to say 90s.
It's above 85%.
Yeah.
It
has to be.
Was stunned that it was at that. I thought it would be closer to 100 as well.
Yeah.
So interesting there.
You know, borders. The border is secure, and we all know that. Actually, voters all across the country are fed up with this now, and they've gone beyond the crisis term. They don't believe it's a crisis anymore. They believe it's an invasion.
Good.
60%, 6 in 10 voters have gone beyond this is a crisis to this is an invasion. It's really the only way you can look at it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's 65% say that.
Yeah,
Man, that's
and
incredible.
In fact, this is a fun little note that was making the rounds the other day. Spanish-speaking radio in San Diego is openly discussing how to circle back around into Mexico and collect another $2,200 each time you cross the border. It's so easy.
Oh my
Once you
gosh.
get here, you should just do it again and just keep cashing those checks, baby. What is up?
Wow.
It's madness. And then, by the way, just a shout out to the small college town of Whitewater, Wisconsin, with a population of around 15,000 people. Joe Biden just flooded the town with 1,000 illegals. City, of course, says they don't have the capacity or resources to handle it. We've got illegals.
What haters?
Illegals in Whitewater,
Bigots?
Wisconsin are now sleeping in sheds in freezing temperatures.
And?
Oh, wait, hold on. The city has reported an uptick in crime since illegals arrived, including sexual assault, kidnapping, and traffic citations. I just thought they came here for a better life, so I don't follow that at all. And lastly, I'd like to point out that Boulder, Colorado, congratulations. You just lost a mother and her son in a drunk driving incident. There was an illegal alien behind the wheel. There he is. What a pleasant individual he looks like. He was drunk driving. He has been deported 4 times.
Well, Keith, we have drunk drivers who are U.S. citizens, too. So it's a totally invalid point that you just made.
Yeah.
Because we'll take every other country's drunk driving people as well.
I listen to their show. It's called Pat Gray Unleashed. The host there, Pat Gray, he makes a very good point. We have our own
we got
drunk
enough
drivers,
of our own,
murderers,
our own
rapists.
rapists.
Yes, we've got plenty here. We don't need to import the entire planet's list of criminals, but that's exactly what we're doing because this is our destruction by design.
I did 4 shows yesterday, so I can't remember if we made the point on or we played the clip on this show or some other one.
Yeah.
But there was an illegal alien who'd crossed the border and was talking about raping women. Was that on this show?
That was on this show. We had the 3 groups of African immigrants in Britain.
And they were asked, oh, that's right. And they were
We should play that
asked-
clip again.
Yeah, we should.
They are
We'll
so
show you.
clueless as to the questioner's
It's
point.
incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. They don't even consider his point.
Right. It's like
it's all about them.
There's no self-awareness. And yes, they're more concerned about other things, but not the victim ever.
We got to come back with that. Last year, because of you, Preborn's network of clinics saw over 58,000 babies saved. Thank you to all who made this possible.
Amen.
We should celebrate these precious babies. When Antoinette found out she was pregnant, she was in a bad place. She didn't know how she could raise her own child on her own. So she searched for an abortion clinic, and God led her to a preborn clinic where she met her baby on an ultrasound. When she saw the baby and heard the heartbeat, she broke down crying, and the nurse reminded her that babies are blessings from God. She chose life. Her daughter's name is Treasure because she's a gift from God. Not great. Dominique really struggled with her faith when she found out she was pregnant. She didn't know how she was going to carry her baby to term, but she called on God for help and asked for a sign. A man told her that there's a better way, and he walked her across the street to a preborn clinic. When she saw her beautiful baby on the ultrasound and realized that he was an actual person inside of her, the answer came loud and clear. She chose life for her precious son, Javon. Each of these babies are truly miraculous, and every day Preborn celebrates 200 miracles. $28 a month. $28 can be the difference between the life and death of a child. When a mother meets her baby on an ultrasound, when a mother hears the heartbeat, it's just a divine connection that doubles a baby's chances at life. So let's join together and help these mothers choose life. Just dial pound 250. Say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby, or visit preborn.com/Pat. That's preborn.com/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed. We'll be right back after this.
We're going to get back to the stunning immigration information that we have for you after the break. But we got an update on the Alaska Airlines flight we talked about yesterday on Overtime, where the door/window, I guess it was made into just a window.
Right.
And it blew out of this plane, and the plane, fortunately, landed safely back in Portland. It was headed for, I don't know, somewhere else. And they had to quickly circle back around and land. And so they grounded all these planes because they're like, what's wrong with this thing? Cabin depressurized, the oxygen masks all fell out for the passengers to use. Nobody was injured, fortunately.
Yeah, and the door was found on the ground, and so was an iPhone, and it was still working, Pat. Look at that.
The iPhone blew out of the plane.
16,000 feet!
So is that the titanium one that came from space?
It must have.
Went through the rings of Saturn, and it can withstand falling 15,000 feet to the ground.
Check this out.
That's great.
United Airlines found loose bolts on their similar Boeing 737 MAX 9s, and Alaskan Airlines, they had trouble with this plane ahead of that.
Pat Gray Unleashed on the Blaze Radio Network.
Welcome. 888-933-93. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. LCTB tweets, Sheila Jackson Lee had the same reaction when somebody asked her about the Constitution.
That's right. Yep.
Oh, please. That reaction? Pete Finnegan, Michelle doesn't want to be president. The Obamas are setting the stage to anoint someone else. They want to maintain the control they have now. And the money. Don't forget about how much money they're making. So they've got that production company that just produced a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
With Julia Roberts in it. What's it called? It's they Left Behind or
Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind.
Did you watch that?
I have.
Okay, so I have as well, and I saw some conspiracy theory on this that there's like a low-level audio pulse that. You know, so you and I are probably MK Ultra'd from it.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I hate to break that.
Yeah,
I probably should have told you
hate
that
to
off
have that
air.
broken to me, huh?
But yeah, so I guess we're going to be activated at some point.
Huh?
It's an interesting.
So just know when we start acting erratically, it's not our fault.
And okay. I read an interview with Obama, with Barack Obama, after the fact, and he was consulted big time on this film and stuff. And anyway, he talks about all of these dangers that are out there. And you walk away from the interview going, you were president for 8 years. You couldn't have done stuff like, I don't know, protect the electric grid.
Right.
Some of the stuff with the airplanes. I mean, it's just...
Now, years ago, it was released, there was a story about how much it would take to protect the grid from, say, an EMP, which seems to be one of the things that I guess happened. It's kind of ambiguous on the show, on the movie, but... we could have protected our infrastructure for something like $1 billion.
Yes.
Even if it had been $10 billion, $100 billion, it's worth it. Do it. And he didn't.
Yeah,
and now you're making movies about it?
Yeah, but then how are you going to make sure that trans soldiers get the surgeries that they desperately need?
Well, that's a good point.
And how are you going to continue
Which is definitely a priority.
To fund the mating habits of fill in the blank
of whatever.
creature?
Yeah.
I do have a question for you guys. Maybe you know the answer for this. So if we do protect the grid, what is it to stop from destroying my electronics? Because that means the grid is just protected, right?
Mm-hmm.
My electronics are just screwed.
Yeah, you're
up.
screwed. You're screwed.
Yeah,
unless you can drive around in a Faraday cage all day. Yesterday, you know how we mentioned ERCOT and Texas now linking in? I told you about the
other states.
Yeah, just so you know, that's only one-way transmission. That's only Texas receiving electricity. There's no lines that is going out, just so you know.
Oh.
Isn't that helpful? Now it makes you feel better about getting now
right.
he likes us being connected to the southeastern United States.
So we're going to suck it from other places.
Yeah, and that was the article that I read. Was like, this isn't a done deal. And it would be 10 years before it would be even done. They've got to sell these communities. Like, what's in it for you guys as these lines come in here connecting to Texas?
That's fun.
And the only thing they have is... so we got some jobs for you when we have to put the poles up. So this may not even happen, Pat. Yeah.
All right. Some other tweets from Jay. No bill should be longer than 4,543 words. That's the length of the Constitution.
All right.
From Jimmy Dimples. CBS editorial standards, sort of like Jeffy's dietary standards. Oliver Klusoff. Now I know what book is missing on my shelf. Next to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it's the CBS News Book of Definitions.
Yeah, you gotta get that.
For sure.
No library is complete without the CBS Book of Definitions.
Now, we mentioned the Alaska Airlines plane and the issues with this specific plane. Apparently goes beyond the loose bolts, right?
Yeah, I wanted to read this paragraph from a Daily Caller article yesterday from Kay Smythe. This is stunning. The aircraft, the Alaskan Airlines flight that was forced to land after getting its side panel blown off there, was not being used for flights to Hawaii because a warning light already indicated there were pressurization problems on 3 different trips before the one where the door panel blew off.
How do you ignore that?
Alaska Airlines had apparently restricted longer flights over water so it could, quote, return very quickly to an airport in case of an emergency if the warning light went off. So this is from the NTSB reporting this.
That's bad.
They knew this was a problem and they continued to fly it, knowing full well that this could happen. Oh gosh,
man, they are fortunate that they avoided an absolute disaster.
If someone died from that,
oh man,
Alaska Airlines would be out of business within 6 months.
A mother had to hold her 5-year-old in his seat because he was about to be blown out.
Is he the one who had the shirt ripped right off of him?
Yeah, shirt was sucked off of him.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, scary. Really scary. Hey, one of former President Donald Trump's co-defendants in the Georgia election interference case, this gets better every day, just alleged in a court filing yesterday that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade had been engaged in a romantic relationship. So Fani Willis hired her lover, Nathan Wade, to prosecute this case and paid him, so far, they've paid him $654,000.
Oh, gosh, I heard it was closer to $1 million.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
It might be. Maybe that was just in one story. I mean, who knows how much they've been paid. You talk about shady, sketchy, and corruption.
And this guy has no experience at all prosecuting this
well,
kind
his
of
lover
case.
just appointed him to it.
Yep.
So that they could make $654,000 to $1 million off of it already.
Precisely. It's stunning. It's just, I mean,
this Fani Willis thing is amazing.
These are the people going after President Trump.
Yeah. Yep. But apparently, Wade said to Fani, and so she has been tender with his love. So first of all, he said, Fanny, be tender with my love. Then he said, love, also be tender with my Fanny. And
Yeah,
and I think that went a long way. That went almost as far as the $1 million that she paid him. So we got that going for us.
With the fanny.
Yeah, you really do. You really do. So I guess he was married at the time, too?
Now that I don't know.
Another tasty little morsel added to the story?
Good stuff.
All of this at the expense of Donald Trump and taxpayers. So don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Country's going well. But we're in good hands.
They're going to get justice in the end.
You bet they
may just take
and that's
a
what
really
they're looking for.
Long route. Yeah, that's what they're looking for, man.
All right, let me take a minute and we'll get back into the discussion on the border. But for 10 years now, Patriot Mobile's been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. And trust me, they have been so great and so active. Glenn and the team there have been great supporters of this show. It's one of the reasons that I'm really proud to partner with them. Patriot Mobile offers really dependable nationwide coverage. It's the same you're going to get on all the other carriers because they use the same exact system. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're sending the message that you support speech, free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, the Second Amendment, and our military and veterans and our first responder heroes. They have 100% U.S.-based customer service. Makes switching really easy. You can keep your number if you want. You can keep your phone, or you could upgrade. Their team will help you find the best plan, the best option for your needs. So go to patriotmobile.com/Pat or just call 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation when you use the offer code PAT. Join me today and make that switch. patriotmobile.com/Pat or 972-PATRIOT.
That gray is unleashed.
The ever-brilliant Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just discussed the border. Now, she knows how to fix the system. I don't know why we haven't asked her before. Makes so much sense. Hey, you know who knows how to deal with this? AOC. Yeah. AOC. Why haven't we asked her?
Keep in mind, I mean, she's visibly moved every time she goes down there. She goes up to that fence and starts crying. And so she cares.
Yeah, she does. Here's what she had to say about fixing this.
From all parts of the political spectrum, one of the biggest issues that we have when it comes to immigration is the fact that we have an undocumented population.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, you can fix that by trying to build a wall, or you can fix that by trying to document people and create a path to citizenship.
Oh, genius. You document people.
Who's documenting?
That's all.
Help me.
All right.
That might say, look at these systems, that our shelter system has weight and things like that. But one of the reasons that our public systems experience weight is because people don't have a documented and reliable path to work and sustain themselves.
Thank you.
Just like all of our ancestors did and our grandparents and great-grandparents.
I don't know about yours. Mine came here legally. So
I mean, they were old school, though.
Yeah, they were. That's so passé now. Come here legally. That's stupid.
That's okay. I mean, my ancestors were suckers, too. I mean, they played within the rules as well.
Yeah. Idiots.
Right. Thank you.
Is AOC looking more like Morticia every day? Or what is it? Maybe Elvira?
Elvira.
Vampire of the Dead or whatever she is. Look at it. Is she not really pale? Or she looks all dressed in black with the red lipstick? It's a little spooky.
The monitor behind you looks a lot more colored.
Oh, does it? No.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. But she is so butt stupid.
Yes, that's a fact.
And she proves it all the time, which is wonderful. Chicago.
Yeah, the mayor there?
The Chicago mayor.
What's his name? Is that
Brandon Johnson?
Yeah, he's fun.
He says that Greg Abbott is targeting black leaders with his policies dealing with immigration.
You're absolutely right about the intentions of Governor Abbott. He is attacking democratically ran cities, and particularly cities that are being led by black leaders or leaders of color. This is unconscionable. It's a very raggedy approach, and quite frankly, not only is it reckless and raggedy,
raggedy.
but it is evil-spirited.
It's raggedy and it's mean-spirited. What is his hang-up with the word raggedy? He's the only person I've ever heard in my life that just uses that word on a regular basis.
Sounds good on TV, though.
Does it sound good, raggedy? Let me tell you a little something about Chicago and Mayor Brandon Johnson there. So apparently they had $95 million in federal COVID relief money just hanging out there. And they're like, oh, we could use that to help with our illegals problem there.
Oh, good.
So congratulations, Chicago, sitting on your federal funds.
That's great.
From the COVID era to help with the illegal immigration problem there.
Oh, man. Is there a problem, though? There's really not a problem.
It's a raggedy problem.
Right? We mentioned what that immigrant said. Well, several immigrants were saying in Britain about the raping going on in Britain. And there was a reporter that was, I don't know, is this guy from the BBC?
I don't know.
Because he's asking him about, okay, well, have you thought of the consequences of your actions when you rape these women?
Yeah, and he assumed that the people he was interviewing would understand the consequences to the woman.
Yeah.
But he didn't say to the woman, and they don't get it. They are so self-focused. Oh, my gosh.
Check this out.
Guys, let's go. Some of them, they're not screaming. It's like they wanted to be raped, you see. She also grabs you see, no more
like
crying.
She's enjoying it, you know, even though she isn't, but it's like she's enjoying it.
Do you think it's right? Do you think it's right to rape?
Yeah, it's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong.
What about the consequences of what you're doing in terms of how that affects the person that's raped?
Yeah, the consequences, we look at that all the time, you know, because it happens, she might scream, you know, people might wake up.
She might
scream. A lot of people, especially.
I'm not just talking
Pause
about,
it for a second. Yeah, if you're in a quiet neighborhood and people are taking naps or, you know, it's late at night and they're sleeping, and if she screams, you're going to wake some people up. That's an inconvenience.
Now, you're not going to wake myself up. You're not going to wake Pat up. We don't sleep.
Right.
But most people are trying to sleep.
Some people could be awakened.
Yeah, could be. That's the consequences.
That's the consequence of rape. I bet you didn't think of that.
A sleepless night for her neighbor.
I'll bet you didn't think of that. There's more consequences, too.
Talking about the emotional effect, the physical effect it has on the girl.
Yeah.
Sometimes we know that we might rape her and wake up tomorrow with viruses ourselves, like HIV, you know.
What about regretting what you done?
Pause it again.
I swear.
So, you know, one of the consequences to him when he rapes a woman could be that he gets a disease from her.
How could he avoid that, though?
I don't know if you can. You can't. Can you avoid it? I mean, even if you wear a condom while you're raping a woman, there's no guarantee.
Okay.
This is
the level of
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And there was more. There's more.
Of course there is.
He pushes a little further. What about the girl?
I also do regret about it, because if she fell pregnant, what will be that baby's father? Who will be that baby's father?
What about her personal feelings?
Yes, her personal feelings.
Crickets. Like literal crickets in the background.
Is that one of the more astounding interviews you've ever seen?
How did the reporter keep a straight face during this? How did he just like...
I don't know.
Not go, bro.
I have asked you like 4 questions now, and you haven't considered the victim in any of them. Incredible.
Congratulations.
Incredible.
That's the culture coming to a Western nation near you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's already.
It's already here.
Yay.
It's already here. And we're getting a warning for the United States of America because, you know, our immigration situation is worse than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah. Now, this warning, he's going to play the North Korean defector girl because she's talking about what's happening in our education system. Okay. Because, I mean, we're getting assaulted on all fronts.
Yep.
You know, the immigration situation, obviously the kids with their education. But, I mean, she makes a great point here that we don't hear very often.
In North Korea, every room that we have the portraits of Kim dictators. And the first thing that my teacher taught me was, look at your dear leader. That's your real father, not your biological father. If he says something unloyal to the government, you need to come tell me. So governments would punish the parents. And now in America, I hear these things like teachers who are literally teaching the kids saying, your parents are not safe if they don't validate your feelings, and trying to separate the children from the family. It is the same exact tactic that North Korea uses to separate people.
Yeah. If you don't validate, if your parents aren't validating your feelings, then you need to understand that they're not your friends. We are here at the school. Here we are as your teacher and your educators. I mean, this mental illness that is being propped up and promoted by governments and schools leads to things like trans shooters.
Yes.
And by all indications, that's what we had going on there in Iowa. And
again.
Yes. Yep. And so I just have to point out that back in November, the FBI was made aware of this, I think it was a Discord channel where they discussed school shootings. And this kid from Perry, Iowa was in there, and somebody sent screenshots to the FBI and never heard back.
Well, but this person was on the radar of the FBI.
Kind of.
Right. Kind of on the radar.
A little bit.
Again.
A little bit. But
as usual.
But again, yes.
Incredible. The trans situation has to be dealt with. If we're going to continue to call it, right and fine and healthy, then we're going to continue to exacerbate this problem. They need assistance. They need help. What was it, 10 years ago when this was considered a mental disorder? And now it's something praiseworthy. It's something desirable.
It's so
and we're
brave.
going to encourage you in it.
You're so brave.
So brave, yeah. I mean, to the point where I think I brought this up yesterday, the 50-year-old in Canada, the man who was competing in a swim meet against 13-year-old girls, went into the locker room with them, competed against them in the pool. A 50-year-old trans man that identifies as a woman can go ahead and compete with 13-year-old girls? Wow. And then the parents were asked by this reporter, do you have a problem with a 50-year-old man going into the locker room with your children, with your 13-year-old girls? And they were pissed at the guy for asking. So was the representative of the venue that was holding the swimming tournament. I mean, we got to get a grip here and realize how dangerous and destructive this situation is. You can't allow 50-year-old biological men, I don't care how they identify. They could identify as a Cocker Spaniel. I don't care. But they are physically males.
Wait a minute.
And there's no denying that.
Hang on a second. You just gave me a brilliant idea. I don't know if it's brilliant, but you definitely gave me an idea. What's the big dog show? The Westminster Kennel Club dog show?
Yeah.
I say somebody needs to identify as a Cocker Spaniel, as you suggest.
Oh, a person.
Yeah, a man.
Yeah.
Or woman, I don't care.
I bet they could follow directions pretty well.
How do you get entered into the tournament? Do you have to, go up the ranks?
I don't know.
Somebody
needs to do this. We should look into it.
Chris, get a GoPro camera, strap it on your forehead.
Identify as a dog.
Identify as a Cocker Spaniel.
And see if you can enroll yourself into the Westminster Dog Show.
And as you're moving up the ranks, you need to post all these on social media. And we'll be sure to retweet them and make sure that people are rooting for you all along the way to your dream of one day becoming the what is
Top dog?
Top dog. Whatever it is.
And we all know that's been your goal in your whole life, right? So this isn't like something you just dreamed up
No, this has been
willy-nilly.
since I came to America for the first time.
Right. I mean, that's why you came, isn't
That's
it?
why I came to become top dog in the American League.
That was your goal. All right.
That's great.
Well, we
That's
look forward to
great.
documenting your journey in the Kennel Club.
Yeah. So ridiculous.
This world is insane, man.
You'd probably get away with it. I don't know if you'd win, but
whoa!
I'd vote for you. If I'm a judge, I'm voting for you.
Yeah, he's not entering without that goal. He's not doing it just as a hobby. This is, like you said, this is your life goal since you came to America.
Right. Hey, tomorrow we got to get into this plan by the United Nations. Their recommendation that $5.3 trillion is required every year to combat climate change and stop the warming of the earth. By 2050, they want to have invested $150 trillion. In other words, about 3 times all the money on Earth, maybe about 2.5 times, all the money in the world invested in this one situation, climate change.
Sounds legit.
Doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going to fix it. They're going to fix it. The UN's Department of Economic and Social Affairs released its report on the world economic situation and prospects for 2024. And they reiterated their 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The widely criticized goals are often used as inspiration for many Western nations' diversity, equity, and inclusion legislation, as well as policies related to climate change. I mean, this is all inclusive.
Yes.
Gender equality, sustainable cities and communities, and quality education are among the goals. Then, of course, we need affordable and clean energy and climate action. And just $150 trillion by 2050 will take care of this problem. So, somebody might say, well, we can't afford that. And I would say to them, we can't afford not to.
Thank you.
That's what I would say. And if it saves one person, it'll have been worth it. Am I right? Who's with me on that?
Amen.
I hope everybody is.
Amen.
So it's time to get rid of our SUVs. They're killing the planet. Jeez.
We are committing suicide.
Oh my gosh.
As a planet, and it has nothing to do with the climate.
Right. All right, we'll see you on Overtime, and then back here tomorrow.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.